There are two things that make up a capable, powerful man. The first is that he lifts heavy weights to build muscle, which not only looks super aesthetic, but is athletic so he can protect and perform. And the second is that this guy develops martial arts skills. So to become a true man, you need to do both of these things. However, like many, I tried balancing weightlifting with MMA and found it tricky. Not only for my recovery, but for my time. I wanted to be super aesthetic and I also wanted to be really good at fighting. So there had to be a solution. After years of trial and error, I figured out the solution. So this is the ultimate guide to balancing MMA and lifting. If you didn't already know, I'm super qualified to be making this video. The YouTubers who typically make videos on this topic have been doing MMA for a year at best, and most importantly, have no strength and conditioning background. The perfect balance between these two things must not only use but obey strength and conditioning guidelines. Just because you do both doesn't mean you know how to balance them. I have a bachelor's of science in exercise science, a black belt in taekwondo, have been doing muay thai and boxing semi-consistently for the last 3 years, and been doing BJJ very inconsistently for like the last 6 months. What's super awesome is that MMA and weightlifting complement each other so well. I had been lifting for 3 years, yet I got to a point where I had to ask myself, what's the point of building all this muscle if I'm not doing anything with it? And MMA allows you to utilize your muscle for something. And it allowed me to understand the importance of lifting with intent. And the intent is improving your health, performance, and aesthetics. This is the exact reason why I'm the guy leading the attack against the fitness matrix, or what I like to call lazy ass bodybuilding. So when you think of MMA, you think, oh, that's gonna help your health and probably help your performance, but what was crazy, it actually helped my aesthetics as well. I saw increases in muscle mass in certain areas of my physique, particularly the obliques and the shoulders. And it helped me get my leanest, most aesthetic and shredded physique. This is me in natural lighting, not abusing angles and using the iPhone front camera. To say I was shredded is an understatement. You won't see very many influencers looking this good in this scenario because they need the best angles, the best lighting, and a nasty pump. And because of MMA, I didn't need any of those things to look freaking crazy. However, I find that MMA and weightlifting give you better mental benefits than physical. If you know my story, this is what I looked like when I was 18 years old. I was shy, insecure, and I was just a kid who wanted to live a better life. All I ever wanted was self-confidence, and weightlifting gave me that. But after I started doing MMA, I realized that self-confidence is just one part of an incredible mind. MMA develops your mental strength and your mental toughness. And I'm specifically talking about striking. I know tons of bodybuilders who think they're so cool because they do BJJ, but that doesn't bring about mental toughness because they literally say they'll do that because they don't want to get hit in the face. When you're striking, you just can't tap out. You gotta stand in front of a guy who's prepared and wants to hit you in the face, and you have to be prepared to hit them in the face, which most people don't know is a hurdle in itself. I mean, look at Mike Thurston trying to punch Andrew Tate.
You're allowed to hurt me. If you knock me clean out now on camera in front of everyone, I deserve it. This is my life's work. So do not concern yourself with being polite. Don't worry about hitting me too hard and me getting mad. I've done this my whole fucking life. I'm not gonna get mad if you hit me. I don't give a fuck. So I want you to try your best. Punch me. Beat me up. Okay?
It's gonna be interesting.
Beat me up. Imagine it's for real and you hate me and it's on. Beat me up. Hit me. Hit me. Beat me in the face. I deserve it. No one likes me on YouTube. Beat me up. Almost. Good.
If it wasn't clear, he didn't want to hit him. After getting back into kickboxing, I started studying the mindset of fighters. If you want to become strong-minded, just listen to Conor McGregor and John Jones talk. Listen to the words they say and how they say them. Not only will you become more strong-minded, but you'll start getting into visualization, which I find is way better than meditating. Mental strength is so important because it prepares you for things that you can't control, like someone getting a hold of your personal information, which is why I'm excited to announce that Aura is sponsoring today's video. Have you ever Googled yourself and were shocked to see your personal information exposed on one of these public listing sites? I once saw an Instagram reel revealing several websites your information might be on. And out of curiosity, I went onto one of these websites and checked. And I saw all of my information on there. From my birth date to my address to who my family members are. And I mean all of them, even ones with different last names who lived in a different state than me. When I requested they take my information off, I realized it was a tough process and sometimes they didn't even end up doing so. And I really wanted my information off of these public websites to protect the safety and privacy of my family members. But what's crazy is it goes even deeper than that. Data brokers are making a fortune selling your information, and they'll sell them to robocallers, spammers, and others who want to learn more about you, like where you live. Aura can identify data brokers exposing your info and submit opt-out requests on your behalf. Brokers are legally required to take your information off when you request so, but they make it very difficult to actually get them to do it. So why not let Aura handle it for you? Aura also does so much to protect you and your family from threats you don't see. It's really easy to set up, and you don't have to download several apps to get things like parental controls, antivirus, VPN, passwords management, and identity theft insurance, and much more. You get everything at one affordable price. Let Aura do the hard work of keeping you safe online so you can focus on other tasks with a peace of mind. You can either continue to let people exploit and make a profit off of your private information, or you can go to aura.com/marios to start your 2-week free trial. Again, head to aura.com/marios to start your 2-week free trial. Thank you to Aura for sponsoring today's video. Okay, now let's get into the actual nitty-gritty of how to balance weightlifting with MMA. And it's not the same for everybody, so I identified 3 different people, and I'll give you solutions into how to balance MMA with lifting. But I do want to emphasize to everyone, you cannot prioritize both. The man who chases 2 rabbits catches neither. If you try doing this, you're gonna get half-ass benefits on both, and you won't be good at either. And no matter who you are, you need a rest day. And when I mean a rest day, you're not doing either. Let your body recover by just taking a break. Now let's head into the first group of people who are lifting and aesthetics focused. These people want to be doing a push-pull leg split, or what I like to say, a pull-push leg split. I'll leave a video card up in the corner so you can watch that and why exactly I structure it this way. But you want to be doing this split as it's optimal for building muscle and strength as long as you're doing athletic bodybuilding. Like my programs and much more in my 90-day aesthetic body blueprint. So if you're someone who's aesthetics and lifting focused, I highly recommend you check out that link I'll leave in the description. As you'll personally work with me and I'll have you looking like Leon Edwards in no time. If possible, you want to lift at night and do MMA in the morning. And here's the reason why.
Perform high-intensity endurance training early in the day and then resistance training later in the day. Ideally, we want this to be separated by at least 3 hours and ideally close to 4 to 6 hours. Endurance training tends to peak what's called AMPK. What we need to know about AMPK is that it's basically catabolic and it reduces cell growth and proliferation. In resistance training, we actually have a different anabolic stimulus, and along with things like growth hormone and testosterone that you're more familiar with, we have a growth pathway led by mTOR, which tends to last around 18 hours after resistance training. This is why it's typically recommended that we do the endurance training first, early, wait a few hours, and then do the resistance training, and give a fairly long time period after resistance training for those adaptations like muscle protein synthesis to occur.
However, most people won't be able to do this, so you're probably gonna have to do the opposite. I know that MMA classes are typically at night, and you're probably having school or work, so you can't do MMA like in the middle of the day when they have classes. But if you have the choice of doing MMA in the morning and then lifting at night, that's probably gonna be ideal. Now you probably have many questions. Will you be sore on your MMA days because of lifting? And yes, it's very possible because you're prioritizing lifting and building muscle, but don't get discouraged or upset by this. And you might be asking, will MMA affect your lifting? And through my experience at the beginning, when you first start doing MMA, it will. As little things like throwing a bunch of kicks will make your obliques sore, or you're taking a bunch of leg kicks so your quads are sore the next day. Those things will affect you early on, but eventually you will adjust. And make sure you're taking your recovery very seriously. This applies to all groups. Be sure you eat well, the right amount of macros, and good food. You're also eating more, and obviously sleeping enough. So my recommendation is that you're lifting 4 to 6 days a week, probably 6 days if you can, and doing MMA 2 to 3 times a week. Okay, now hopping into the MMA focus group. Much depends on your season, like either your off season, pre-season, in season, but typically I recommend these people are lifting 3 to 4 days a week. And luckily for your athletes, I didn't forget about you. As in my 120-day peak athleticism package, we give you the workouts for each one of these periods or each part of the season, as well as being able to prioritize power through plyos at the same time, and then strength and cardio when needed. So I'll leave that link in the description so you can personally work with me to perform like Leon Edwards. MMA, you want to be doing 4 to 6 times a week as it's your focus. It can be a mix of light intensity sessions and hard intensity sessions. And you can do 2-a-days of MMA on the days you don't lift, but try and make it like a light intensity session and then a hard intensity session, and not 2 hard intensity sessions. But if they are 2 hard intensity sessions, again, be sure you're recovering well, eating enough, and sleeping well. And the last group is for a very small percentage of you, but it's if you're really good at one of these things. So either lifting or MMA. Like in my scenario, I'd be classified as really good at weightlifting because I've been doing so for over 6 years. But at the same time, I want to do that and actually start getting good at MMA, so this applies to me. However, I recommend you do one of the other 2 group strategies, or the priority groups, but the reason I can't is because I'm busy with my business and doing my YouTube videos. However, if you can't prioritize them because of time, and you're actually good at one, you are able to balance them. So in this case, you would do each 3 to 4 days a week because you're already good at one, so at worst, you're maintaining your skill or muscle mass. And for the one you're a beginner or not as good at, you can go hard on those practices or lifting sessions. So you can develop the skill or muscle, obviously depending on which one you're not as good at yet. If you're in the MMA priority group or the one where you're really good at one, I'd recommend doing full body workouts. And to summarize the lifting and aesthetics priority one, I recommend a pull push leg split. If you're interested into lifting for MMA, I made a video on that. Or if you're skinny fat by chance, here's a video here. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.